2010 major wins for Chip Ganassi Racing, Jamie McMurray at the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400, and of course Dario at the Indianapolis 500. Back in a moment on Versus. This September, college football returns to Versus. We know what you Mountain West fans want. Can the Utes and Rebels hold off the Big East and Big Ten? Catch Pittsburgh at Utah Thursday, September 2nd, when the Utes make a stand against the rush of the Pittsburgh Panthers. And catch Wisconsin at UNLV Saturday, September 4th. This September, college football returns to Versus. On board with Scott Dixon here, yep.
Yeah, that turn 11, that's just a very quick, fast, sweeping left-hander at 120 miles an hour.
That's Marco Andretti up ahead. Marco is running 7th and Scott 8th.
See the speed as you're rolling into turn 1 there? He was going 148 miles approaching that corner. Dumps the throttle a little bit down to about 130, back on the gas.
That's number we've seen at the end of the straightaway is 169, right? We saw that
yes, we did.
We'll find out if...
well, maybe.
Here comes Simona Di Silvestro. She's still running in 6th spot.
I was starting to say earlier about Simona, one area that she's really learned and growing is in qualifying, how to maximize what you can from the sticker Firestone tires. You know, they have that sweet spot. And that's really, I think, part of why she's qualified so well these last 2 weekends, both at Edmonton and here, just really showing it. And it's about just her ability to say, okay, now's the time to strike. The tires are at their optimum, and it's time to put down a lap.
Well, I went up to Michael Cannon to just get a checkup on Simona, and he was writing all these numbers into a chart. He told me as soon as she left the grid, they lost all the telemetry. And guys, you could probably talk more about what that means they're having to do, but he said we're just having to do everything by hand and figure out all her fuel numbers.
And if you don't have that telemetry, it certainly makes life more difficult, but Michael Cannon started engineering in the days when you didn't have telemetry, so he's had to revert back to the old days. There might be some new engineers without the computer who'd be thinking, now what do I do?
And how many times have we seen that little shot where Marco's behind Simona, and right as they're going down into turn 4, it just kind of pops out a little bit, I'm filling your mirror, and he's still there.
Dan Weldon is still there in the 10th position, having a good run in the National Guard car. Panther Racing.
Pretty solid run. I mean, you got to just come back to how competitive this field is all the way throughout. I mean, you know, you have one little hiccup, and it can take you from running in the top 5 to being back in the 15th. I mean, so you got to have everything tuned up. You as the driver, you know, getting along with your engineer, making sure the changes that you're making to the car are taking you forward. If you're making changes and going backwards, you just don't get caught up over the course of a race weekend. So pretty good run.
Weldon is currently 9th in the point standings. His best finish this year, of course, was at Indianapolis, where he was runner-up to Dario. Top of your screen, you can see the interval between 1st and 2nd. It's just about a half a second.
The preparation on that car, that Panther car, Danica heading out of pit lane, so she's been in for service on lap 53. So that would be a stretch to get to the end.
Yes, that would be most likely because you didn't get all the fuel on the previous pit stop, and now she's really going to have to soft pedal it to make it to the end.
But maybe that's what they're banking on right now, is to get some yellows and let her do that and hopefully gain track position.
Graham Rahal running 13th.
You can't really tell too much from looking at the top of his helmet with NTB up there, but just like he had last year, that's a retro helmet, just like what his dad used to run. And it's pretty cool that he just pays that tribute to his dad. I mean, as a fan coming up, I remember very clearly the helmet that Bobby was wearing, the red top with the blue band around it and the white stripes.
And he hasn't given hard. He's pushing. Marias on pit road. A few other cars setting up.
A lot simpler when there's nobody else in front of you or behind you there, as tight as this place is.
Again, anyone who stops now is going to not be able to run flat out to the end. They might make it to the end, but they're not going to be able to be flat out. Jack?
Guys, as we get ready with the window opening, you're starting to see some early pit stops. For the leaders, what you want to watch very closely is can Franchitti squeeze out an extra lap over Power and Castroneves? For Alex Tagliani, the big question mark is how deep into the window can he go? That's what we're looking at in this final one. Looks like Ryan Briscoe may be one of the first of the leaders to come on to pit road very shortly.
If one of these Penske cars pits before Tagliani, hats off to Tagliani for having, and that was Briscoe. He took the pit lane. So amazing that Tagliani stopped 2 laps ahead and Briscoe is on pit road. That's some good fuel mileage for Tagliani, but he most likely will be in next lap around.
Here comes Ryan.
It looks like they're going with the Firestone Reds back onto the number 6 car. This is the winner from back in Texas. That was Noble. Now we're on a road course. And boy, you see just how close it is for not only the drivers, but the pit crews as the target car, Scott Dixon, just ahead of him.
That's surprising for Scott Dixon. He was the master of making fuel here last year. Robbie, you mentioned that at the opening of the show. He went a lap longer than anybody. Yep. So he's been pushing hard. Here comes Kanaan taking advantage of cold-tired Briscoe.
And these are the money laps right now. What we're watching, how people cycle in and out and get tires right now, these are the money laps.
Alex Tagliani should come on to pit road, and then Dario Franchitti knows that that will be, as you call him, Robbie, the money laps. The moment that he sees Tagliani peel off, he's going to just nail it and give it everything that he has to try and get a time advantage before he stops.
Yeah, he's got to go a little bit faster. Can he go a second faster these 2 laps and give him a little bit more of a gap?
Lindy.
Alex Tagliani in and right on his marks. He has asked for used red tires. This team did not test here last week like a lot of other teams did, so Alex said, we came in here with a tall order. He said right before this race as he pulls away that their goal today was to finish in the top 6.
He may be able to do that. Dario Franchitti picks up the lead.
So everybody really is liking the reds. Even though those were used reds, he said, hey, I want to put those back on. So it's not just that maybe they have more grip. It's also the balance it can put to the car, because sometimes the reds have more bite in the rear. The rears really settle the back of the car, assuming they don't go away.
Also the standpoint, like you said, that durability of the reds has just been fantastic here.
Yeah.
And that just gives you that extended window.
Yeah, and normally that is the question mark, is how long of a life do they have, and here it's been okay. Absolutely.
That's what Jack is talking about. How many laps can Dario do? That's one more in the books.
Okay, let's see what he does. He's going to trip the line here right now, guys. That last time by a 109.2, so he ran about 0.2 quicker than the prior lap. So, got to keep pressing. You know, we talk about tenths, just 0.2 here or there, but that's all it takes.
Yep. Because right now you've got Tagliani running around with a full load of fuel on cold tires, and we should keep an eye on his lap time.
Well, here comes Kanaan again.
Yeah, Tagliani came by 1:32. Of course, that factors in part of the pit stop.
Robbie Floyd.
Well, I noticed a little bit of pit courtesy because Helio Castroneves just in front. They went to get their stuff out, and they said, hey, let's wait till Tony goes. You see him going out with brand new set of Firestone Firehawks. Now goes TK, and now Helio sets up just in front of his spot. So a little pit courtesy for the guy you know is coming in just ahead.
Oh, this is not at all what Dario, in fact, was telling me. Will Power was really concerned about Milka Duno being on the track and said, I hope the championship doesn't come down to that, to someone who, in his view, shouldn't be on the racetrack. And it's exactly what he talked about. He almost got taken out by Duno.
And Helio decides to come in.
And Franchitti stays out. So right now, Dario needs to keep laying down those laps. He probably lost a couple of those tenths we just talked about. He needs to get them back. And sure enough, he did. He lost a second on that last lap. Robbie?
It looks like scuff flag's going to go on for Helio Castroneves. You're right, that little bump might have helped him a little bit. Trying to get that car completely full, and he goes back out. Helio Castroneves may be fortunate in that instant.
So that little hang-up cost Dario a second.
Oh, yeah.
1 second.
Hideki Muto looks like having some problems if the car stalls on pit lane.
Get the jumper. There's the plug cable to the jumper. They're just putting it over the wall.
So Dario has just got by Milka, and she stays to the inside of the track, and then on the outside goes Power, gets out of the groove, gets a big wiggle, And he was thinking, ooh, baby, that was a little too close for comfort.
Well, too, when you get on the outside of that track and